is Daf Kuf Gimel in Chulin. Today is the last blot of Perikin Anosha. Tomorrow is going to be Kol Abasa. Tomorrow is Basa B'Cholav. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the beginning of Gid Anosha. It actually starts in the bottom of Kuf Gimel Amud Beis. Today is heavy Lomdish Gemara. Kishmak Efrelich Gemara, but heavy Lomdis. You said this in what's called the Issachal Alissa, and then after that some other V'esis Nar Kazayis B'Chlei Achilas Pras, very you say is the Gestira, the Shitas Rashi, the Kasha, and then later on about the Ima.
Someone was playing the actually bought this morning, and he's quoted with
but we're going to start Be'ez Hashem Kuf Beis on the bottom. So the Gemara. Let's move quickly. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. It's about 10 lines in the bottom. Lamaisa. It's about 10 lines in the bottom. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Lo yiseichel hanefesh im habasar. The word lo yiseichel hanefesh im habasar is the Eva Menachai. So we're going to see Rabbi Yochanan learns that Nefesh, Rashi explains, is a lotion of something that's irreversible damage. Something just like a nefesh is something that's irreversible. So too, an aver is something that doesn't come back, even if it gets injured, it doesn't come back. So therefore, that's why nefesh refers to a aver. Zeiva menachai ubasa basad treifa lo yisechelu ze basa menachai ubasa menatreifa. But from basa basad treifa, from over there we darshan two things. One of them we darshan the pashtus, which is treifa, but we also darshan basa basad treifa lo yisechelu basa menachai. So if you eat a kazayis of basa menachai, you're going to be chayiv also. That's also going to be basa menachai because it's also basa menachai because basa basad treifa l'isechelu is mashma anything that's pirish mim kaimoi and so basa that was pirish so a kazayis of flesh that was removed from a chai, that's also niklal in the parasha of basa basad treifa.
Not a complete aver.
Yeah. So, but it comes out. So we're going to see. We're going to see in a second. We're going to see. Sai Rabbi Yochanan and Sai Rish Lakish agree that we have three surim here that come from two psukim. But the question is, basa basad treifa, does it come from the first pasuk? Does it come from leiseichel nefesh im habasar, just like Eva Menachai, or does it come from the second pasuk of basa basad treifa? Like Rabbi Yochanan, the first pasuk is only Eva Menachai. The second pasuk is Sai basa menachai and Sai basa treifa. Rabbi Shimon Lakish that Sai Eva Menachai and Sai Basa Menachai are both learned out from the pasuk of Basa Basad Treifa Leisechelu, and Rashi explains because Loit Rish Lakish we learn Leisechel Nefesh and Leisechel Basar. It's two separate things. Not Leisechel Basar Kein Nefesh as Leishuv. It's two separate things. Leisechel Basar and Leisechel Nefesh. And Leisechel Basar and Nefesh. That teaches you Sai Basar that Sai Eva Menachai and Sai Basar Menachai and Ubasar Basar Treifa Leisechelu Zeh Basar Menachai. Right. So now, so the Gemara goes. So now the Gemara based on that. On those facts, we're going to do the arithmetic. So the Gemara, if he ate the first two, so the Rabbi Yochanan chayiv shtayim. So like Rabbi Yochanan, you're going to be chayiv for Eva Menachai chayiv als basa basad als leisechel nefesh ma'basa, and als basa menachai you're going to be chayiv basa basad treifa. But the Rish Lakish ain't chayiv alachas. Since both of them, the Rish Lakish, are learned that from the same pasuk of leisechel nefesh ma'basa, you're only going to be chayiv one. Now, or if he's achal, the reverse. If he ate number 2 and number 3, achal basa menachai ubasa menatreifa. So again, Rish Lakish chayiv shtayim. Over here, Rish Lakish is going to hold you chayiv 2 because basa menachai is learned from the first pasuk, is learned from the sichel and nefesh ma'basa, and treifa is learned from basa basad treifa leisechelu. So you chayiv shtayim. The Rabbi Yochanan and chayiv alachas. The Rabbi Yochanan, since they both learned that from basa basad treifa leisechelu, you only be chayiv 1. Simple. Now, however, ochal eva minachai ubasam natrefa. If you ate 1 and 3, l'divrei hakol chayiv shtayim, because l'divrei hakol eva minachai is learned out from l'sichel and nefesh ma'basar, and the kuli almost trefa is learned out from where ubasam asad trefa l'sichel, so you can be chayiv too. That is gishmak klor good. Viramini, here's where it gets lamdish. Moving to Kuf Gimel Amud Aleph. Ochaleva minachai menatreifa. Let's say it was both. It was a eva minachai. That was a treifa. So l'chura, at first glance, right? At first glance, this is the last case. This is the case where l'divrei hakol chayiv shtayim. Because why? Because it's say eva minachai and it's treifa. So you should be chayiv too. So, but we know it's a machlekes Rabbi Yochanan chayiv shtayim. Rabbi Shlomo chayiv la'achas. Zok the Gemara. Beishlam with Rabbi Yochanan and Nicha. Rabbi Yochanan is beautiful. Rabbi Yochanan is mamish delicious. This is mamish the halacha that we said that you chayiv shtayim. That treifa and eva menachai chayiv shtayim. Elo l'Rav Shimon Lakish kasha. What's going to Rav Shimon Lakish that's going to hold in this case by eva menachai and treifa yichayiv only achas. Amar Rabbi Yosef loy kasha. We're gonna tweak it. It's not ochal eva menachai min hatreifa. It's umin hatreifa. Amar Rabbi loy kasha. Kam bebehem achas, kam b'shtei behemes. That means that what we learned in Kuf Gimel Amud Beis on the bottom, the case when he is ochal mishtayim means that he ate two separate animals. He ate one animal was eva menachai and one was treifa. But over here, we have a machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish is talking about bebehema achas, kam bebehema achas. And now the Gemara is kam bebehema achas, kam bebehema b'shtei behemes. And the Gemara explains b'shtei behemes mechayiv shtayim. In what we said, divrei hakol yichayiv shtayim. That's simple. That's talking b'shtei behemes. So obviously going to be mechayiv shtayim. Bebehema achas pligi. Now bebehema achas b'mai pligi. So the Gemara is going to say 3 pshatim, I think, 3 or 4 pshatim. Okay, 3 or 4 ukimtis and explanations of what the machlokes. Again, Rabbi Yochanan is still very gishmak. This kizayis is say eva menachai and it's a treifa. You should be chayiv shtayim. However, the Gemara is going to say that for some reason, like Rish Lakish is going to apply a nisachal. Oh, that's exactly what the Gemara is going to say. B'mai pligi Amar Abaye ki goin shenitchefa mitzias roba. Yeah, okay. So now this is a yisoid that the whole Gemara is going to go that the Issa Treifa is chal. The Issa Treifa starts happening when there's a kick in. It kicks in when it's b'shas leida. That's the Issa Treifa. That's for sure. Yeah. Right. And now, and we're going to see later on in the bottom of the Omer that this Issa Chelev also kicks in from the Shas Leida, right? But however, the Issa Eva Menachai is the Shaila that we had the Machlekes earlier of what's the Shaila of the Machlekes? If Behema Bechayel Leivorim Oimedes. It's a very interesting, enigmatic lashon of Behema Bechayel Leivorim Oimedes. Somehow we have a suffix that maybe Behema, when it's alive, it's oimid to be eaten as Eva Menachai, and therefore you'll be chayiv. It's a little bit shver. This is the achronim muchazach. I would just say that the pshat is like this. I don't know if we have a ganza hez, but one thing is klor.
What's oimid to be eaten as an Eva?
Not klor. In other words, if the Isser Eva Menachai was chal when it's still alive, and the language that the Gemara uses is Eva Behema Bechayel leEvorim Oimedes. What? Yeah. So the word is like this. We have to understand that Eva Menachai is a very unique Isser. Why? Because the pshat is like this. Because I'm not chai. Nobody's eating a live animal. Right? You're eating something that was Pirish Menachai, right? And what's the problem? The problem is that at one point it was alive, and when it was hufresh when it was alive, right? So, and the Torah is recognizing that the life that it had when B'shas Hafrosha is going to answer you even 30 years later, this piece of Eva Menachai, right? So the question is, so when is that Issachal? When is that Isser Chal? Because the Isser is very unique. It's because of the life that it used to have, and then it was Pirish, so now it's going to be Isser forever. When is that Isser Chal? It's Isser when it's Hufrash, but what do you mean? It's Nesar for the Chayim that it had before. Or is it, or do we say that the Isser was Chal, B'shas the Chayim, and the Pshat is that it was, that the Isser was Chal, that if it's going to be hufrash, this chayim is going to stir you. Right now, the lashon of behema b'chayel leivorim oimedes could be. The question is, in other words, it doesn't have to mean that it's absolutely leivorim oimedes. That it's 100% going to be leivorim oimedes. The mandama that says that it's not chal b'chayim says even though the Isser is on the Chayim, you hear the smart that I'm saying? Even though the Isser is about the Chayim because of the Chayim, but you can't say that any Isser was Chal, but the any Isser was Chal now alive because Behema b'chayel lav leivarim emedes, and therefore nothing was Chal now. Yeah, even though the Isser is because of the Chayim that's now, but the Behema b'chayel lav leivarim emedes, and the other mandama says. It's not that the pshat is it's mamish 100% that it's going to be leivar memeds, but the word is. But we already see the possibility that you'll eat it be'evarim, and therefore it will be nesar even now on the chayim. That would be a shtickle lehezbah. Yeah.
He's also eating the chay before it's hufresh.
The issa is chal. Ultimately, it's only going to be also b'shas lacha afrosha. But when is that issa chal? The issa not to eat this piece of basar b'chayel. When is it chal? Is it chal b'shas? That's the question. Yeah. Okay.
Now, why did the poils start?
Right. It's obviously. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. So that was so it's up to Gemara, and that's the Gemara is going to go with these. We're going to be toying with this suffix of behem b'chayel. Leivarim emedis, lav leivarim emedis throughout the sugya. Zok the Gemara the first shot. Zok the Abaye, Abaye could go into the imitzias ruba, meaning that that the treifa happened. We don't mean imitzias ruba. We mean that the treifa happened from the start, right from the beginning. So in other words, treifa kicked in right away. It started off right. B'shas later there was a treifa. Now the question is, when does Eva Menachai want to start? When is Eva Menachai kicking in? That's the question. Is Eva Menachai also starting B'shas Leida? In other words, because Behema B'chayel B'cheskes Leivarim Emedis, and therefore it's going to be Bahadi Adodi. It's going to start. It's going to be Chal together, right? Marsava Behema B'chayel Leivarim Emedis V'isa Treifa V'isa Eva Bahadi Adodi Kasu. Then they come. They come at B'vas Achas, and therefore they're both going to be Chal. That's Rabbi Yochanan. This says you're going to be Chayiv Shtayim Umarsava B'Rish Lakish argues, and he says Behema B'chayel Lav Leivarim Emedis. So therefore, even though the Issa Treifa happened right from B'shas Leida, but the Issa Eivarim is not going to be Chal until the guy chops off an arm, till he takes off that Aver, and by that time it already had a Issa Treifa. So yeah, that's the first shot in. If the Issa Eiver Ben Achai was Chal B'shas Leida, or it's only Chal after Afrosha.
And that's totally Behema B'chayel.
Yeah. Clear? Good? Yeah. Okay, so Abaye's pshat. I mean, he is being toiler the machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, and the machlekes that we had already was a machlekes Tanoim, and on Kuf Beis on Beis we said it's a machlekes Tanoim. If Behema b'chayel leivarim emedis, Masav b'chayel lav leimedes. Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. That we said it's a machlekes Rabbi and Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon. Okay, Zok to Yomar, right? Zok to Yomar, another pshat. V'boy say menachatai shtekoli ama behema b'chayel lav leivarim emedes. It doesn't kick in until the shas afrosha. There is no issa eva menachai. The Mesi Issa Eva Mechel I Issa Treifa Kamifliki. So Issa Treifa happened Shas Leida. Eva Menachai is pushing, is muching zich to come in later. What? B'Shas Afrosha. The question is, could it be Chal? Ubemesi. Iser Eiver, Mechel Iser Treifa Kamiflegi. Marsava Ossi Iser Eiver, Chayel Iser Treifa. One holds that Iser Eiver is going to be Chal on Iser Treifa. Why should it be Chal on Iser Treifa? Because Rabbi Yochanan holds that what? Because we know that Iser Eiver is Iser Chomer, or Iser Meisef, very Gishmak. Marsava Leossi Iser Eiver, Chayel Iser Treifa. Very Gishmak, very klar. We know that we have that sad, it's very Gishmak. Yeah? Rashi says klar because it's Ishkeni Surah B'nei Noach. Right? And Masav L'chayil. That was shot number 2. Here goes shot number 3. I'm sorry, there's at least 4. Maybe even 4. No, there's 4 shot. So you say, Ma, the Kuli Amma Behema B'chayel Leivarim Medes. Name. Punkt verkehrt. It is Leivarim Medes. And the pshat is so Issa Eva Menachai was Chal B'Shas Leida. Right away it kicked in right B'Shas Leida. But it was not yet a treifa. So fakert. Eva Menachai got its foot in the door before treifa is coming. Oh, what's the shayla? Ube Mesi Issa treifa, Chayla Issa Eva Kamiflagi. And here we have a machlekes Rabbi Yochanan Shlokish fakert that for some reason Issa treifa should be Chal on Issa Eva. What's the shayla? Why should it be Chal? Marsava Ossi v'Chayil, or Marsava Lo Ossi v'Chayil. So first of all, the Gemara doesn't explain what the Havamin is. Yeah, what would be the Havamin? It's muchzach. What's the tzad that is a treifa should be Chal on Issa Eva? It's not Issa Chomer. Why should Issa treifa be Chal on Issa Eva Menachai? Yeah, and also, what's the pshat in this interesting change of language? All of a sudden, now it's Ossi v'Chayil. We changed a different language. All of a sudden, a different language. Ossi v'Chayil, lo Ossi v'Chayil. What's the pshat in the different language? Till now, if it's a treifa, it's Chayil, it's Eva Menachai. No, Ossi v'Chayil and not Ossi v'Chayil. It's a slight different language. So if I think. I didn't see anybody say this, but I think it's Mamish Mefurish in Rashi. Rashi, when he explains Rish Lakish, Rashi's very ma'irich when he discusses Rish Lakish, and Memela it's very gishmak. So let's halt the cheshbon again. Loit Rish Lakish, right? He holds Rish Lakish is l'chur the glat tzad. Regular ein issa chalalissa, right? Regular ein issa chalalissa. That you can't have that the issa treifa, which is going to be chal later on, it can't come and be and be chal on something Eiv Menachai. It was Eiv Menachai b'shas leida. Now it was nitra for lachli kind of it can't become it can't be a treifa. And Rabbi Yochanan is the chiddush l'chur that Rabbi Yochanan says that for some reason issa treifa is going to be chal on issa eva. So look at Lashon of Rashi in Rish Lakish, and I think it's Mamish Gishmak. So Rashi, Rish Lakish Sava. It's the middle of the Rashi. Okay, going to Nitra Lachamikan. Rashi says, Rish Lakish Sava ain't Issa Treifa Chal ala Behema Acha Tishachet. The Issa Treifa is not Chal on the Behema until you shecht it. So Rashi, and he adds this Lashon. The Issa Mitla Toli V'Koi V'Chipaka Issa Chios Asi Issa Treifa V'Chai. Yeah. What's Rashi mean? What's Rashi muching over here? The Issa mitla tali v'koi v'chipaka Issa chiyis asi Issa treifa v'chayil. What's vil Rashi? So I want to say like this. Rashi saying a pashto zach. What's the normal case? Obviously, you could have a treifa that the pshat is you could have a thing that was shenit for yitzias ruba. But what's the normal case of a treifa? The normal case of a treifa is that an animal was nitzifa, and you had an animal that was grazing in the ground, who was grazing in the pasture for 3 years, and all of a sudden a lion came and was machafit. That's the normal case of a treifa, right? Zok muchet zachrashi, muchet rish lakish, if you're going to say that there's an isser, ain't isser chalal isser, meaning that the what that behema b'chayel leivarim medes. So Eva Menachai is got here first, right from the get go, and on top of that you want a treifa to be chal. So what's the case of a regular treifa? Treifa doesn't come. The lion comes, it's too late. Eva Menachai was here before the lion. How did the lion ever make this animal into a treifa? A treifa is never chal. Until now, we were talking about an oddball. We're talking about an unusual case. We're talking about that it was nitzvah imlei dasa. But now that we're talking about a regular case, that it was regular nitzvah lachamikan. In a regular case, how can you say that there's a concept of ein isachal lisser on this on every treifa? So then is bottled the whole Torah is treifa. So Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish are arguing what we do with this kasha. Rish Lakish says, no, Rish Lakish says that the pshat is the whole is a treifa, even after the lion comes, and he's tired of the thing, it doesn't become a treifa. It's not chalis a treifa. Why? Because Eiva Menachai is there. Eiva Menachai is here dominating. And Issa Treifa is here only as a potential, and it's mitla toli v'koi, it's hanging there. If you're going to shacht it, boom, it'll kick in. But it's not here. It's not Treifa. It's not Kal. That's what Rish Lakish is mechadish, right? Right? And Rabbi Yochanan holds, no, there's no such a thing. If the Torah was machadish Issa Treifa, and by definition the concept of Issa Treifa is on a chaya, so obviously the Torah is machadish that Eiva Menachai could be, that Issa Treifa could be chal on Eiva Menachai. So even though Be'etzem Kol Torah Kula is a concept of what of Ein Isachal Lissa, but over here by definition that's what every treifa is a treifa coming in and being chal on Eiva Menachai. That's what Rashi's saying. Very gishmak to Lashon HaGemara. Now it's very gishmak. Rabbi Yochanan holds it's Asi v'chayil. That treifa is Asi v'chayil. That's how everyone. And Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish says that treifa is never Asi v'chayil. It's mitla tali v'kai. That's the different language. It's a whole different language. This is the shaila. The shaila is the Gzeres HaKosov in the parasha of treifa that it's going to be chal even though the animal is by definition Eiva Menachai, or is the word. Or the pshat like a Rish Lakish, that Rish Lakish says is mitlatal v'koi, and it's lo yasi v'chayil. It's not chal. It's only here in potential until it has a chance to kick in. That's what I think the pshat in this Gemara is. Okay, Yishmak. Zok the Gemara. Rave Amakigo in Shetalash mi Meneiver Vitarfa by Anupshat. That what? That he ripped off an aver, and b'shat in the same time that he was ripping off the aver, it became a treifa. So l'chura. So if you hold it behema b'chayel lav levarim medis, when it became an aver, is the same time it became a treifa. So it's beautiful. Vasachas. But if you hold that what behema b'chayel levarim medis, so then the pshat is. So then
before.
Yeah. So the Gemara Rav Amaki going to tell us me mena Eiva v'Torfa boy. Mar Sava behema b'chayel le'Eivarim Medes. That the pshat is Rabbi Yochanan holds behema b'chayel le'Eivarim Medes, right? And the Meila v'Isa Treifa. I'm sorry. So this is interesting. Over here, the lashon is eina imedes. The language lefanenu is different. It's not behema b'chayel lav leivarim imedes. It's behema b'chayel leivarim eina imedes. It's a slightly different language. I want to say a pshat like this. Okay, I want to say a pshat on this, but I can put him. So very gishmak. Since behema b'chayel leivarim eina imedes, so memelo what? So memelo. So Issa Efer v'Issa Treifa Badi Adoni Kasu. So they're coming together at the same exact time, and therefore, since they're coming at the same time, so Mele is going to be Chai. You're going to be Chayiv on two. So U'Marasava behema b'chayel leivarim medes. That behema b'chayel is leivarim. The Rish Lakish is going to say that Eva Menachai was already here. Was here from the morning. It was here from when it was born. Yeah, that's the other. Now, so I want to say like this. So what's the difference between Rav Abayi's first pshat and Rav's first pshat? Both of them are saying that the machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish is behema b'chayel cheskes leivarim memedes and not leivarim memedes, right? It's just So you could say like this. You could say that the pshat is that the machlokes Abayi and Rav is which one Rabbi Yochanan held. And it'll be negaya because how Rava paskind and the shaila is how we paskin. Do we paskin? In other words, the shaila, the machlekes between Abaye and Rava is not if it's a doichik to be maz, but a machlekes or Bercher and Rish Lakish about behem b'chayel b'cheskes leivarim memedes or not if to be toilet the machlekes or Bercher and Rish Lakish about a machlekes tanaim. No. It's they both pshatim are maskim to that. Now the shaila is which one do we paskin like? Do we paskin like Rabbi Yochanan? Do we paskin like we paskin like Rabbi Yochanan? The question is which one Rabbi Yochanan holds. So like the first pshat that the pshat is Rabbi Yochanan is going to hold behem b'chayel leivarim memedes, and it kicks in right away. That's what Rabbi Yochanan holds. And like the second pshat, Rabbi Yochanan holds behem lav behema b'chayel leivarim enemes or Eina Medis Leivarim, and Memela, that's the chiluk between Abaye and Rava. But I want to say one little svar over here, a different svar, maybe a different pshat in the machlokes Abaye and Rava, based on this girsa. That the pshat is that normal behema b'chayel lav leivarim medis because mechatesa you're ever gonna have a mechatesa is gonna ever be an eva mechatesa. So obviously this is not chal now because mechatesa is gonna ever happen, right? And memela avada is it wasn't chal, but it could be in the second case. Where a guy went over and he was chopping off the arm over there, Abaye is going to say over there, it's chal b'chayev. The guy went ahead and did it. He went and made an aver. So Avada was chal before he cuts it off. Mashenk and Rav is saying no, behema b'chayel eina oimedes leivarim. Even if you're going to go and chop it off, it's not chal until after it's an aver. It's not chal before b'chayim. Even if you're going to chop off this arm, even if you're going to chop off the arm, so it's mamash negeh. In the first case, no one was ever talking about an aver. You had a baby that was born with a trephus. Mechatesa is going to ever be an aver. Mechatesa. So that was the svara of behema b'chayel lav leivar b'medes mechatesa. Oh, in the second lashon in Rava, it's behema b'chayel eina imedes leivarim, meaning that the pshat is that even though the guy is going ahead and doing it and he's cutting off an aver, still after pikain we don't see this aver menachai yet. That would be maybe a yishuv in the gear still funny.
Why should we say?
What?
Why should we say he chopped it off later?
What do you mean? But now he's chopped. He's going now to be chopping. So now this is mamash aver menachai.
When he had the behema originally, he wasn't going to chop it off.
Right, but we don't need the issa to be chal originally. We just want the eva menachai to kick in before the issa treifa. So let it be chal. Let it be chal right now that the guy is coming over.
Right now when you're going to cut
it off. The should say yeah.
Right now when he wants to cut it off,
yeah. Because now it's mamash aver leivarim.
Now it's aver leivarim.
Yeah. What? Okay. But so you go with the other mahalach. That the pshat is Abaye and Rava is how we pass in Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, let's move on. We must go. We have to do on the base with what's called kizayis with le'achilas pras with mesinas. Zok more by Rabbi Yochanan. Ochal chaylev min achai min atreifa. If let's say he ate chaylev chay and treifa chayiv shtayim only two, even though it's three surim. There's chaylev chay and treifa. Yeah. Why don't you say three? Because I remember Rabbi Yochanan Taka said shalish. Yeah, you're talking to be chayiv three. Now over here there is a very, very big problem. The big question is how does chaylev translate into Eva Menachai. Yeah, this is a big problem. There's a Ravid. We don't have time to be Meirich in it, but this is a big problem. That L'chura Chelev is not an Aver. How did Chelev become an Aver? There's a Chiddush from the Rambam that Chelev is an Aver on its own. Maybe some things don't need the Basagid Matzamas, and the Ravid wants to learn up from here that Chelev has a din basar, and since it has a din basar, therefore, again, min b'mina, it's considered min basar. This is a big shmooze in this Gemara. Where do you see Eva Menachai in Chelev? But that's a Zaytik Gemara. Yeah, but we're assuming that we're talking about a case where a guy is pegea in three potential isurim, Chelev, Chai, and Treifa, and the shaila is he going to be Chayiv 2 or 3. So the Gemara vayta Michael Meflegi, Kikain Shenetre Vayim Yitzias Ruba, the same kind of cheshbonus. That the machlokes in Rabbi Yochanan is in a case where it's nitzvah and mitzias ruba. In other words, it was nitzvah for b'shas leida. So Marasava sholosh, the one that holds you're going to be chayiv 3 in such a case. Kasava behema b'chayao leivarim medes, meaning that what the b'shas leida all 3 isurim, they all kick in all at once. They all get their foot in the door. Mamish b'shas leida, right? The isa chelev, the isa eva, the isa treifa ba'adia dadika. So Marasava no shtayim, and the one that says only 2 holds no. That avada is a treifa and is a chelev are going to kick in right b'shas leida. However, even achai doesn't kick in until it becomes an eva. V'es a chelev, v'es a treifa, is a eva le'asi chayil. Very gishmak. Zakti Gemara, a second has been the machlokes vi by saying the kuliyam behem b'chayel lav levar memets. Everybody holds behem b'chayel lav levar memets that Eva Menachai is knocking on the door later on. It's a late comer, and it's coming after Issa Eva and after Issa Treif and Issa Chelev v'chal a long time ago. Ubemesi Issa Eva v'chayel Issa Chelev v'Issa Treif kamif again. The shaila is Issa Eva Menachai if that because it's a chomer if it could be chal on top of Issa Chelev and Issa Treif. That was the second as well. Everybody holds that Eva Menachai is chal right away, and it's chal b'shas leida, but the treifa didn't happen right away. And that's the one that we're going to keep out. That's the one that's going to be excluded. Okay, so what's the machlokes? Ubemesi is a treifa, mechale is a eva kamiflagi. And here's the shaila. There's a machlokes, and maybe it's a treifa could come and be chal on top of is could be chal is a treifa It's a chalal, and this is going to be ke'end this svara that we said in Rashi, ke'end this. But that what? Marsava Osi v'chayil. The one holds that Issa Treifa is going to be chal on Issa Chelev ve Eva Menachai midi the Haviyah Chelev. Just since we know the Torah says mafurish that is a treifa is chal on chelev, it's a mafurish extra pasuk that says v'achal eisechlu on what on a mafurish pasuk which says chelev nevela chelev treifa. So obviously, and the Torah is coming to say a chiddush that even though it's already a chelev, is a treifa is going to be chal on it. So now, since is a treifa could be chal on the chelev, maybe it could be chal on this Eva Menachai as well. And so since it could be chal on Issa Chelev, so maybe it could be chal on Issa Eva Menachai as well. V'idach achelev hu dechayiv. No, you can't learn off from Chelev because Chelev you chayiv the hota michlale because Chelev is mutter by a chaya and therefore by Chelev it will be chal, but not on treifa. Yeah, that not on Eva Menachai, and that's the end of that Gemara. That's the end of that Gemara. Now comes a very, very long sugya. Yeah, moving on. Yeah, Amid Beis. Kasher of Dimi Abba Boy Minei Rab Shimon ben Lakish Mirab Yochanan. Shimon ben Lakish Klev from Rabbi Yochanan. Chilkoi mi bachutz mahu. If you took an Eva Menachai and you split it up into pieces, so then and you have half and half. So now the question is are you chayiv or not? Yeah. So now, and Amalei Potter. So Rabbi Yochanan says you take a Potter. Mi b'fnei mai. Amalei chayiv. If you split it up the Eva Menachai in your mouth, then you're chayiv. Ki Asher Rav Amar Chilka Bibachotz. It's taka part of the Kuli Amar Mibifnim is Machlekes Rabbi Yochanan Shlokish. Rabbi Yochanan Chayiv, Shlokish Amar Potter. Rabbi Yochanan Chayiv Nene Groinei, because Lamaisa Seif Kosef, all I have to be Nene for Achila. We're going to see the Gemara a little later is in the throat, because the Nene Groinei because ice right. Shlokish Amar Potter Achila b'meyav beinon v'leka. You need that it should have been a kazais in the stomach and it wasn't. Okay, we'll see the Gemara. You want to see a little another stick of Gemara? The Mechayiv. How is it ever gemolta? You're going to be chayiv if you need a kazais in the stomach. So the Amar kind of big rumisa ze'erta. Taka only gemolt with a certain tiny thin long bone that the derech was to swallow it all at once, and therefore, and taka that's where you only be chayiv. And that just because you didn't bring it close, that doesn't lie like a mechusa maisa. It's as if you did it, and therefore Reb Lezer disagrees with both of them. Okay, but that's the end of this Gemara. That's the basics of this Gemara. Zok Rashi, what is the shmuz over here, Rabbi Yochanan, that he's going to say that chilkam bibachotz you're not going to be chayiv? Zok Rashi, klar. So Tais is going to argue with the whole thing. Tais is going to learn. We're talking about somewhat of a tiruf. We'll see what Tais is going to say. But Rashi says that this is the old klal of K'dayis b'k'dei achilas pras. Ma'u mi mitztarfi l'chuvi kichol shari yisuri dekaimelan mitztarfi shuraya l'chatzoyim b'soich k'dei achilas pras. Oidilma kivan dechidishu. Da gidim fatzomes ba'alma le mechayiv alayu v'hacha mechayiv. Ve'im en l'cha b'ya l'chidushay. V'chiyochle b'vasachas mechayiv. The stam achil b'vasachas mashma v'chatzoyim. That's the Rashi. Yeah? So, what? Yeah. This is the massive lumdus. Okay, so now, first of all, the Velt says that this is what the Mogen Avram means, the famous Mogen Avram, that on Pesach that says that a person should chatchila try to eat a kazayis b'vasachas, not just durch kedei achilas pras. What we zok there, raya from Gilanosha Chulin Perik Shvi. What's the raya? There's a zogan dachreidim. He means this Rashi, that the pshat is that the whole pshat is that there's a chiddush that Torah was mechadish. The Torah also said that kedei achilas pras is fine. In other words, the achila means vasach, and once we know the concept of kedei achilas pras, it's not like it redefined achila. It's just there was a kula that we're also going to help. We're also going to allow kedei achilas pras, but avad should do vasachas. That's how they learn pshat in. That's the pshat in Mogen Avram is this mukaf. Now, and what does Rashi say, Lamaisa? Zok Rashi, that the pshat is that over here that it's a chiddush. Since it's a chiddush, memela we're going to say memela Zok Rabbi Yochanan that since it's a chiddush, so mechet hesa the kula of kedei achilas pras was exactly one of them.
You need some achila.
Yeah. You need achil v'asachas. It's hadadina, the old achil v'asachas. That is the shtickle of that's what Rashi says. So the Mechas Chinuch and all the achronim are matmiya on this Gemara from a Gemara in Zvachim Daf Ayin. Why? Because there's a Gemara in Zvachim Daf Ayin that says almost kemat the exact same svara as Rashi, but it says punkt fakert. The Gemara over there says that when it comes to being mitam of nivlas of tar, that's mitam because my base abliya. So the Gemara, I need an extra pasuk to tell you kedei achilas pras. Why do I need an extra pasuk kedei achilas pras? So the Gemara, because since it's a chiddush, I would think that you'll be chayiv even if it's more than kedei achilas pras.
The opposite way.
Punkt fakert. Yeah, Zok Chsam Seif is Machlekes HaSugyos. The Machlekes HaSugyos is what was the halacha which we see now of Kedei Achilas Pras? Is the pshat that that the Svarach Chitzoyna was bevasachas and Kedei Achilas Pras was mechadish that you could extend the Kedei Achilas Pras? That's how this Gemara is going. That's how Rabbi Yochanan is going. The Gemara over there is going punkt fakert. That the pshat is Kedei Achilas Pras. That pashtus you have forever. I don't know what. How long do you have? I don't know. You have a much longer time. Maybe Kedei equal. And Kedei Achilas Pras minimized it. And therefore we would think that since the Chiddush you're not going to be chayiv. That is the That's the kasha, the Velt's kasha on this sugya. Now, this kasha extends much more because the Reb Keiga is kasha. Frak Reb Keiga. So we had by Gidim is also a chiddush. So maybe by Gidim should be a din that you only chayv vasachas. That's Reb Keiga's kasha. And the Ma'aser Supreme doesn't take a paskins like that. But Reb Keiga says leimatzinu. And the Achronim ask a different kasha. We're going to see that Bas B'chalav is also a chiddush. So Bas B'chalav is a chiddush because two dvarim that are kosher that become tamei, that become aser. So let us say also over here. Let us say over there also that you're only going to be chayv bas b'chol only when it's v'azachas, not if it's g'dei achilas pras. What is going on here? This is the kasha this is the Velt's kasha. So v'nira loima, I want to say a chiddush. I want to say a pashtu zach. It really is a shaila. We mentioned briefly the shaila of what is the halacha of basa gidim b'atzamis by Eva Menachai. Is the pshat that I'm going to be mechayiv on the achila of the is the vort that I'm chayiv now for eating the basa gidim b'atzamis? Oh no, avada, there's no such a thing. You're not going to be mechayiv for gidim b'atzamis just like you're not chayiv on any other yisurim on gidim b'atzamis. No, the chiddush is that it can be mashlim l'kezayis. Yeah. So you hear? So the chiddush over here is not a chiddush in the ikar iser or in the ikar halacha. The chiddush is gufa in the tziruf advarim. That's gufa the chiddush of the chiddush of Eva Menachai. In kol Torah kula by Giranoshe, by Nivasai Tar, by Basa B'chalav and all these things. There's no chiddush in the tziruf. Once the Torah said it's aser, and there's no chiddush in the tziruf. So therefore, there's no makom to be mechalek in the tziruf. Mashenkin over here, fakir, we're saying once the Torah is mechadash yivachayiv, I shouldn't need. I should be chayiv always. Fakir, there's no reason why I should be confined to less than gzayis b'achilas pras. Mashenkin over here, the whole chiddush is that this is mechalek tziruf. The whole thing is that it's a tziruf, and that's the chiddush that it's a tziruf. So we're saying that the tziruf is it's going to be mitzurif, even if it wasn't mavasachas. If it was just kedai achilas pras, you're going to say that you're going to somehow be mashlim this into kazais because I ate a bone later. Who cares? I mean, it's the whole concept of the tziruf is a chiddush, and therefore in this word, only over here by this kazais, this chiddush, do we say that fakir you should need bavasachas? What do you say to such a word? And but the only concern will be that this won't be like l'chura. It won't be like the. It won't be like the I'm not sure. I'm not sure if maybe the Magen Avraham is not learning like this. I'm not sure. We have to cheshbon. Okay, but you hear the word? You hear the plan? It's a geshmak plan, I think. Okay. Zok the Gemara, right? Let's move on. I might have to go. Zok the Gemara. Omar, yeah, sagt die Gemara weiter. Omar Rab Shimon Lakish, Kezayis Amru Chutz Mishel Ben Hashinayim. That what? That the Kezayis needs, besides what got stuck in the teeth. Because what got stuck in the teeth never got to the throat or to your stomach, so that's pashut, that the pshat is that you're not going to be chayiv on that. Rabbi Yochanan af im ben hashinayim. Like this gersa, that even what's stuck in your teeth, that's already part of the achila. Amar of Papa, no. Bishal ben hashinayim dekuli amalei pligi. No, everyone's asking that's not going to be achila ki. Pligi ben hachanichayim, the throat, the palate, the back of the throat, the palate. Yeah, we're going to see this. We're going to use this a lot by Bas B'chalav as well. Also the Chanichov. Yeah, Mar Sava Harei Nene Geroinoi B'Kizayis. So Rabbi Yochanan holds that you're going to be chayiv because Nene Geroinoi B'Kizayis, and that's ultimately where the Hano is by the throat. That's enough. Mar Sava Akilu B'Meyav Binon, and Rish Lakish is Mekel comes out, but in other words, he needs more of an achila. He needs it to be in this stomach. Exactly. Gemara right to Amar Avasi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. There's a lot of shmuz about these Gemaras as well. A lot of these B'negei brachas and a lot of other halachis. Where do we say this? Where do we not say this? Do we need a svia? Could they svia by brachas or not? but it's not the time for now. So the more right, Amar Avasi Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Ochal Chatzi Zayis ve'hiki v'chaza ve'ochal Chatzi Zayis acher chayiv. Somebody ate half of a zayis, and he threw it up, and then he re-ingested that same Chatzi Zayis. Chayiv. You're going to be chayiv. My time. I'm sorry. He didn't re-ingest the same zayis. He re-ingested a different zayis, but he threw up the first one, and then he took the second one. Chayiv. My time. Harei nana groinai bekizayis. His lemaisa, his nana groinai. In other words, we don't care about the stomach. We don't care about achil b'meav. All we need is groinai, and lemaisa, he swallowed them both. So he's going to be chayiv. So we'll see exactly in what this case, in the context, the Gemara is going to explain what happened over here in this thing. But so far, Rav Asi said over something for Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Eliezer goes and asks him a question. Boy, Rabbi Eliezer, Rav Asi, what happens if he reuses the same exact chatzi zayis? In fact, the Gemara, what was it? What's Rabbi Eliezer asking? Have equal? Is that the question? Is his question, maybe it's mashba, his question is, that no, once it was swallowed, so now it's already unusable, and therefore, if it was unusable after he threw it up, so that's why it can't be used as a second chatzi zayis. If that's his question, so let him go and ask a new question. If you eat a kazayis, you swallowed it, and then you threw it up, and you swallow it again, if you chayiv shtayim or achas. What does that have to do with the chatzi zayis part? Teretz is, Ella ibasa groina azlinan ibasa me'av azlinan. The teretz is, he has the question, his suffix is, that since he threw it up, and then he's re-ingesting it a second time, so he's only ingesting in his stomach a half of a zayis. So the question is, do you go bust the throat that felt two chatzi zaysim, or do you go bust the stomach that only got only a half? Ask, so bring a raya for Rav Asi alone. That what? The Rav Asi said that if he ate a chatzi zayis ve'ikiyoi, and then he ate a second chatzi zayis, right? You're still going to be chayiv. Why? Because even though he was a kiyoi, and he only ultimately was left with one half of a zayis in his stomach, but lemaisa he got achila b'groinoi. So what exactly was Rabbi Eliezer coming to be moisef here? That's the question. So tomorrow we have to tell you what happened over here. So tomorrow Rav Asi Gemara Yakale. Rav Asi forgot some of his learning. And Rabbi Eliezer was trying derech kavod to try to remind him what Rabbi Yochanan said, that no, you forgot. Rabbi Yochanan said even aggressor a chiddush, right? But the way to do it was he didn't want to correct Rav Asi. He said it in a oifen kavod. He asked him a kasha. What happened? Rav Asi said the halacha by two different chatzi zaysim. You ate one chatzi zayis, you threw it up, and then you took another one and you swallowed it. And he said, for Rabbi Yochanan, you're going to be chayiv because achil is greater than chayiv. And so Rabbi Eliezer was bothered. Why did you say the case for Rabbi Yochanan in the case where it was two separate chatzi zaysim? This one chatzi zayis is enough. All I need is to scratch the throat, right? So, but Rabbi Eliezer didn't ask him, but he didn't remind him that because he was being bakavidik to Rav Asi. He said it in a soft way. Why did you say the case of Rabbi Yochanan? Why did you quote Rabbi Yochanan in a chatzi zayis acha? Why don't you talk about the same one? Because from there we'll learn two things. First of all, Ishtik. And Lamaisa, so now we're going back to the story. Ishtik v'lei amalei v'lei midi, amalei moifes hadar, lei zimnis habegin, amrit kamei Rav Yochanan, v'amalach hareinena, greina b'kazayis. Then he reminded him that Taka, and he said, Taka moifes hadar, you're the gadol hadar, you're Rav Asi the gadol hadar, even though he was already vice felt it, but he said, but many times you told us from Rav Yochanan, Taka, this halacha, and that hareinena b'kazayis, even when it was the same half itself. Hadin aloch kid anosher, hadin aloch kid anosher, hadin aloch kid anosher.